By the way, I'm not sure we would have even had a country. And now we have the most successful country in the world. Brian?
Yes, sir. What is your message to Democrats ahead of a next vote to open up the government? The American people are saying, open the damn government. What's your message to them right now?
Well, they're the ones that started it. They're the ones that have it. And it's almost like a kamikaze attack by them. You want to know the truth? This is like a kamikaze attack. They almost, they have nothing to lose.
Are you concerned about the delays at airports, and how do you see the shutdown lately?
Oh, sure. I mean, they're all Democrat delays. There are delays at the airport. That's standard. And again, this is something that every day we put forth a bill. It's just a continuation. It's a very simple thing to sign and very simple to do. And I really think that these are people that I think they have nothing to lose. They have a party that's out of control. They have no leader. Nobody knows who the leader is. I look at people with very low IQs like Crockett, this woman Crockett. I never met her, but she's a low IQ individual. I look at AOC talking about how if they want to negotiate, they can come to my office. She's not in that position to do that. And who the hell is she to say that? And then I watch Nancy Pelosi not knowing what to do. I watch their leadership. Look, Schumer is petrified of primary because he's not going to win probably against anybody in a primary. Schumer did the right thing, but he handled it badly originally a year ago. He did probably the right thing, but he handled it badly. I think Schumer's incapable of making a deal. They are a mess. They're a party that has no leadership. They have, and they have no policy. We have great, I think we have great leadership, but we also have great policy. We have strong borders. We have no men and women's sports. Basic things. We're not going to take your child away and change the sex of your child. We're not going to do things like that. What they're doing to the country is so incredible. And they got away with it with all their woke crap, and now it's stopped. And we have a country that's based on common sense and strength and intelligence. We have the United States of America, and I say it all the time. Other leaders have told me this. Mark hasn't yet, but I think he would. A year ago, we were a dead country, and now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. Maybe Canada. I'll give Canada, but because I do like Canada. But we're the hottest country in the world right now. There's never been a country that has the kind of money coming into it. There's never been anything like this. There's never been a country that if you take $1 trillion, that would be unbelievable. We're going to have over $20 trillion invested in this country. There's never been anything like what you're seeing, and it's based on good policy and common sense and leadership.
Have you identified programs to eliminate under this shutdown?
Oh, sure.
Which ones?
We have a lot. I'm not going to tell you, but we'll be announcing it pretty soon. But we have a lot of things that we're going to eliminate and permanently eliminate. One of the things that we have is some advantage, you could say, but because of the shutdown, which I think they made a big mistake, we're able to take out billions and billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse, and they've handed it, on a silver platter. And Russell Vogt, he's a serious person, very serious person, and he's sitting there and he's getting ready to cut things. And this is something that was handed to us by, I assume, Schumer. I just don't know if Schumer has any power anymore. I look at your leadership. I don't know who to speak to. I'll tell you what, I'm getting calls from Democrats wanting to meet. I never even heard their names before, and they're claiming to be leaders. The Democrats have no leader. They remind me of Somalia, okay? And I met the president of Somalia. I told him about the problem he's got. I said, you have somebody from Somalia who's telling us how to run our country. She's from Somalia. He said, would you like to take her back? He said, no, I don't want her. Okay, you know who I'm talking about? Say it again, please.
How many permanent jobs are you talking about to be eliminated?
Well, I can tell you, I'll be able to tell you that in 4 or 5 days if this keeps going on. If this keeps going on, it'll be substantial. And a lot of those jobs will never come back. But you're going to have you're going to have a lot closer to a balanced budget, actually.
Well, in his wide-ranging exchange with the media and Mr. Carney there at his side, the president also talked about some domestic issues. I want to ask you about that. We're tracking reports about a new memo from the Office of Management and Budget about whether those furloughed federal employees will actually be paid. There was some gray area in the president's answers to the press on this point.
And that appears to have been on purpose, Reed. Look, we have to take you back to the last shutdown, record-setting 35-day impasse back in 2019. And after that impasse, then President Trump signed a law that assures workers that they get their back pay once this kind of a shutdown is over. What the Office of Management and Budget, the place that basically takes care of all the dollars and cents and policy foreign administration, is now saying is in their interpretation of that law now, they believe it doesn't necessarily guarantee furloughed federal employees back pay, but certainly those that are working right now and may miss a paycheck because of the impasse. What the White House has said, however, is normally in the past, even before this law existed, when they would pass the law to reopen the government, it always included language that said, and by the way, everybody who worked or didn't work during this gets their back pay. So what the White House is essentially saying to lawmakers is you can still put that language in the bill that you use to reopen the government, and it shouldn't be a problem. Other lawmakers are turning around and saying, no, that 2019 law took care of that. All of it is designed, Reed, to create a bit of confusion, and the president added to that when he was asked about it a few minutes ago.
And why do you say some federal workers should not get their back pay? Why do you say some?
Well, you're going to have to figure that out, okay? Ask the Democrats that question. Go ahead.
Mr. President, just to follow up there, I mean, the law says that when the government is reopened, that workers will receive their back pay. So are you going to define the law there, or what do you?
I follow the law, and what the law says is correct, and I follow.
So that would appear to put a button in it, you know, that the president says, yeah, well, the law says that, and I follow the law. But he's got some legal memos now sitting on his desk that suggest otherwise. Again, this is an administration that campaigned on creating havoc, wreaking havoc for the federal workforce, finding ways to trim it back. And this is certainly ricocheting across the federal workforce, furloughed and unfurloughed, essential, non-essential today, as they now wonder for the first time, might they not get their back pay whenever this impasse ends? And remember, it could go for several weeks. So that would be a huge financial hit for tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of federal employees across the U.S. government. Probably,
many of which are getting property tax bills this time of year. Ed O'Keefe, thank you so much for that update from the White House. So we're going to expand now, talking about the impacts of the government shutdown, taking you to Capitol Hill, where the impasse, it continues 1 week after that government shutdown happened. Now, as it stretches on, to Ed's point, no end in sight. Those thousands of federal workers are furloughed without pay. CBS News congressional correspondents are on the Hill for us. Nicole Killian, take us through what you're hearing on the issue of back pay. Certainly what the president had to say there with Mr. Carney at his side caused a lot more questions.
Yeah, well, certainly most lawmakers and congressional leaders, for that matter, have indicated that they believe that federal workers should be paid back pay if they are currently not being paid because of this funding lapse. Take a listen to how Speaker Johnson and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries responded to reports about this memo.
There are some legal analysts who are saying that that may not be appropriate or necessary in terms of the law requiring that back pay be provided. So I'm sure that'll be there will be a lot of discussion about that. But there are legal analysts who think that that is not something that government should do. That, if that is true, that should turn up the urgency and the necessity of the Democrats doing the right thing here. Even more pain, more than I just listed, for more people.
Donald Trump and his administration have been torturing federal employees since the very beginning of his presidency, engaging in mass firings, harassing them, brutalizing them, laying people off without justification, and violating the law. So let me be clear to those hardworking federal employees who are now being victimized by this Trump Republican shutdown. We continue to stand with you.
So Leader Jeffries went on to tell me that he believes that the law should be enforced in terms of ensuring that those furloughed federal workers receive back pay. And even though Speaker Johnson, as you heard, kind of hedged there saying, well, hey, some legal analysts think this, he did make clear that he has not seen some of this language in this OMB memo for himself. But when he was asked about the principle of paying these furloughed workers back pay, he did say that, or suggested that he believes that federal workers should be entitled to some form of retroactive pay.